of the decks that I'm showing you that you can build that are only using the Agmar Awakened Hero expansion, the starter decks, and the core set, I'm going to be starting with an Ent deck. And the three heroes that I'm using are Leadership Martial. He's a 10 threat, a 1/3/3/3 Dunedain Ranger Warrior. While you're engaged with at least one enemy, Martial gains the Tactics resource icon. And while you're engaged with at least two enemies, add one additional resource to Martial's resource pool when you collect resources during the resource phase. And he might be leadership, but as soon as he got an enemy, he's got the tactics icon. Then the next hero I have is LOTR Biffer. He's 7 threat, 2/1/2/3 dwarf. Action: pay one resource from a hero's resource pool to add one resource to Biffer's resource pool. Any player may trigger this effect. So it's like you have two lore heroes in one, because you can add another resource from another hero's resource pool to his resource pool. And the third hero is Tactics Legolas. 9 threat, 1/3/1/4, Noble Sylvan Warrior, ranged. Response: after Legolas participates in an attack that destroys an enemy, place 2 progress on the current quest. So what these three heroes give me is resource acceleration, resource smoothing, location control, and ranged, and good defense. Now of the cards that I'm putting in it. And of the Ent cards that I have in it, I have Durndingle. He's at cost 2, tactics, a 1/1/2/3 sentinel, can't have restricted attachments, enters play exhausted. And while Durndingle warrior is defending, it gains action. Deal 1 damage to Durndingle warrior to give it +3 defense for this attack. Limit once per attack. So this is just dealing 1 damage, and he's got 5 defense. You might only think that he can only do that twice. But now we have the Welling Hall Preserver. Lore, cost 3, to 3/2/2/3, Ent, can't have restricted attachments, enters play exhausted. Response: after Welling Hall Preserver readies, heal 1 damage from an Ent character. Now you can see the teamwork. You deal 1 damage to Durndingle, blocks for 5, and then the next turn you heal 1 damage from Durndingle with the Welling Hall Preserver. And the Welling Hall Preserver is decent in willpower. Another Ent ally I have is Beachbone. Cost 3. 2, 1. A 2/2, 1/4 Ent. Can't have restricted attachments. Enters play exhausted. Response. After Beachbone is declared as an attacker, deal 1 damage to him to deal X damage to the defending enemy. X is the number of damage on Beachbone. So as soon as you get 2 damage on Beachbone, you can deal another damage, and then you're dealing 3 direct damage to the enemy. And if you can get a way to increase his hit points, you can deal even more. And then here comes back the Welling Hall Preserver, where you can heal up damage so you can repeat the process. And he's decent with questing as well. And that's all of the Ent allies that I have in this deck. Going over to events, I have Boomed and Trumpeted. Tactics that cost 1. Response. After an Ent character takes any amount of damage, ready it. That character gets +3 attack until the end of the phase. So that's one thing with Ents, how they're sleepy. They all enter play exhausted. But when you play this card, you can ready the Ent. So if, like, for instance, you're putting out archery, you could play this card and ready him, and then give him +3 attack until the end of the phase. And it's not just for that 1 attack. If you ready him again, he still gets that +3 attack. So for example, you could attack with Beachbone, and let's say he has 2 damage on him. You could deal 1 damage to him, deal 3 damage to the defending enemy, play Boomed and Trumpeted, ready him, and give him +3 attack, and it would be for the attack that he's making against that enemy, because it's a response. And then he's ready to attack another enemy for 5. So of all the Ent cards, that's all that I have in this deck. But now for other cards, I've got Ever Vigilant. You can choose and ready 1 ally. So you can ready 1 of your Ents. I've got Grim Resolve to ready all characters in play. Duran's Ruins to draw cards. Sneak Attack to sneak in Gandalf. And I also have Bjorn in here just as a help out, because Ents are sleepy. Bjorn can be a big help at the beginning. And to make sure my characters don't get damaged too much, I have an honor guard where you can use it. Cost 2, tactics, 0013, response, exhaust, honor guard to cancel 1 point of damage just dealt to a character. Valor, response, exhaust and discard honor guard to cancel up to 5 points of damage just dealt to a character. One thing that will not happen is during Durndingle Warrior's action, you can't use the honor guard to cancel that damage and still have Durndingle get the +3 defense, because he only gets the defense when he's damaged. And I got Cram to ready up some of my heroes and to help out Legolas, I have the Bow of the Gladrium that can only be attached to a Sylvan character. And attached hero gets +1 and +2 instead if it's attacking an enemy not engaged with you. And then a hands upon the bow to try to snipe enemies in the staging area. And that will help out because how Ents are sleepy. And then to do some healing of non-Ent cards and to get rid of condition attachments, I have the Athelos that can only be attached to a Dunedain or healer character, so I can attach it to a Martial. And then I discard Athelos and exhaust attached character to heal all damage from a character, and you may discard 1 condition attachment from that character. And then I also have King Under the Mountain for card draw, attached to a dwarf, and you exhaust King Under the Mountain to look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Add 1 to your hand and discard the other. And for more healing ability, I have Limbus, play only if you control a Noldor or Sylvan hero, attached to a hero. Discard Limbus to ready attached hero and heal up to 3 damage from it. I have Narvi's Belt, attached to a dwarf, cost 2, and you can exhaust Narvi's Belt to give attached hero the leadership, lore, tactics, or spirit icon until the end of the phase. So I can attach that to Biffer, and with his action, he can get 1 resource for another hero's resource pool. And then I can exhaust Narvi's Belt and give him 1 of the 4 resource icons. And to lower my threat, I have the Secret Vigil, where you can attach to an enemy, limit 1 per enemy. An attached enemy gets -1 threat, and when attached enemy is discarded, reduce each player's threat by the attached hero's printed threat. And then to get more resources, I have Steward of Gondor. You can exhaust the Steward of Gondor to add 2 resources to a hero's resource pool. And for more card draw and healing, I have the Long Defeat. You attach to a quest card in play. Limit 1 per quest. Response. After attached quest is defeated, each player either draws 2 cards or heals up to 5 damage among characters they control. And to add some more quests to the game, I and 3 side quests that I added. Scout Ahead, 4 quest points, limit 1 per deck. Response: when this stage is defeated, the first player searches the top X cards of his deck for 1 non-objective card worth no victory points, and adds it to the victory display. Put the remaining cards back in any order, or X's number of players plus 4. Then I have Gather Information, neutral, cost 0, 4 quest points, limit 1 per deck, and response: when the stage is defeated, each player may search their deck for 1 card and add it to their hand. Shuffle each player's deck. And the third side quest is Send for Aid. Leadership, costs 1. It has 6 quest points. Limit 1 per deck. Response: when this stage is defeated, each player may search the top 10 cards of their deck for an ally and put it into play under their control. Each player who did shuffles their deck. And with this card, it doesn't matter what spear the ally is because it's put into play. And just to add more defense, I have the Gondorian Shield. The goal is to put the Gondorian Shield onto Martial, and then add the Steward of Gondor and the Martial, and add the Gondorian Shield to Martial, and that would give Martial plus 5. It will give him 5 defense. So to go over all things, I have one, two, three, four, 5, 6 allies in the deck of different types. 3 of each of the Warden of the Welling Hall Preserver and the Durndingle Warrior and Gandalf. 2 Beach Bones. 3 Honor Guards and 1 Bjorn. So that's a total of 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 allies. And for events, I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 attachments. 3 Cram, 3 Limbus, 3 Secret Vigil, 3 Long Defeat, 2 Bow of Galadriel, 2 Steward of Gondor, 1 King Under the Mountain, 1 Narvi's Belt, 1 Athelas, and 1 Gondorian Shield. And then for events, I have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have 3 hands upon the bow, 3 sneak attack, 3 boomed and trumpeted, 3 Duran's Ruins, 3 ever vigilant, and 1 grim resolve. Then I have 3 side quests: send for aid, scout ahead, and gather information. So altogether there is 54 cards. And you can easily take out the side quest if you're playing in a deck that you need to act quickly, and bring you down to 51, and then having the Duran's Ruins in there, it doesn't really matter. A lot of players just have 53 cards and add the Duran's Ruins because it pretty much replaces itself. So for attacking, I have Gandalf, Beachbone, and Bjorn. For my allies, with my hero Legolas. And for defending, I've got Marthiel. You can use Gandalf and Bjorn for defense. And the Durdingle Warrior. For questing, you've got Biffer, Welling Hall Preserver, Gandalf, and for damage, and we have the Honor Guard to cancel damage. We have the Limbus to heal up damage. The Long Defeat to heal up damage. And the Athelos. And for readying, we also have for healing, we have the Welling Hall Preserver. And for readying, we have Cram, Limbus, Ever Vigilant, and Boomed and Trumpeted. And you can also have the Gondorian Shield go in with the attachment to help with the defense. And the Hands Upon the Bow to go in with the attack. And then we have as a miscellaneous card, a sneak attack that can help out with Gandalf for all different types of things. And for the threat reduction, we have the Secret Vigil and Gandalf. Card draw, we have Duran's Ruins, Long Defeat, Gandalf, and King Under the Mountain. And going back to the readying, we also have the Grim Resolve. And you can gather information will get us a card. For card draw, the Scout Ahead will make we can scan counter deck, and Send for Aid can put an ally into play, so it's like card draw. And now for resource acceleration, we have Martial. How if he's got an enemy in play, we get another resource icon, and when you have two enemies, he gains an additional resource. Biffer is good for smoothing because he can move resources around. We have the Steward of Gondor to add 2 resource to attached hero. And Narvi's Belt to smooth the resources. So there's the deck. And in the next video, I'm going to play this against a quest. And then I'm going to build a deck with showing you other cards that would make it even better for not that much more of a cost.